We're so happy to have you. So you have been superintendent for under a month. Why did you come here?
Good question. I had been in Somerset for the last 15 years, and I started consulting. I felt at that time that I needed to do something different. But when I saw this position come about, there was just something that really attracted me to the position, because I feel it's a calling of mine, in the sense that while consulting was great, it gave me flexibility to do certain things, there was something missing, and it was the students and the community, the engagement of people was missing. So I knew that it was a calling of mine that, hey, I can make a difference. I had done something in Somerset which thought was unimaginable, because when I did take over the role as superintendent, it was very similar to what we're experiencing here at South San. And to get it to where it was when I left in 2022, just reaffirmed that, hey, this is the right place where I need to be, and we can accomplish the same thing that we did in Somerset.
Did you think you were done? When you left Somerset ISD, were you like, all right, I'm done, I'll stay in education, but somehow you got pulled back in? There must have been something that you saw.
Yeah, and again, there was a time where, my wife, who works at USAA, she was working from home at the time, and we were on separate rooms. It was just because, when you have two people working on certain things from home, sometimes that doesn't work, right? Mm-hmm. So we worked on opposite sides of the house. But I'm a people person. I like to engage with people, with their kids, community members, and that wasn't happening. I was sitting behind a computer screen and working with NIAT consulting company, and I felt that I wasn't in the right place at this stage in my life, that I could. Again, I have so much more to give, and I want to give to this community. So when the opportunity came and the application process, I found out about it, I decided that I wanted to jump in, because I feel I have that skill set to make a difference in this particular community.
You just mentioned that you were attracted to this particular job, yet we know that the last time the TA score came out, this school district was rated a C. Not exactly an attractive grade, I would say, but that brought you in, and you have already said you have some pretty big ambitions for this school district to bring it up to an A. What is your plan to do that?
Well, in order to do that, first of all, and I've been visiting with staff, I've sent surveys out, I'm trying to gather as much information to find out the great things that are going on, and there's a lot of great people here, right? So a lot of processes that are in place, but noticing where the gaps are. One of the things that I found out, the most important thing that we're going to raise student achievement is to have a quality teacher in front of the student. So we've made changes. We're restructuring our central office. We're cutting down on certain administrative positions, so that we can invest more on individuals who are going to have a direct impact in growing or building capacity in our teachers. So we're adding instructional coaches on every campus in order to better support our teachers. And again, I've interviewed several teachers, and many of them feel that they need additional help or additional support. So we're really honing in on adding that additional support so that they can become exemplar teachers, which essentially is going to transcend into a rise in student achievement.
Can you talk about some of the support that they say that they need? Because sometimes, we have heard about how a lot of teachers are underpaid. I mean, I do have the data here for the South San ISD, and it says that teachers currently have a yearly starting salary of $59,350. Here, teachers with 26 years or more of experience can bring in $69,000. Not exactly at the low. Right. It's still a little bit higher than the state average. But when teachers talk about the support that they need, sometimes what they're saying is books, school supplies. What are some other things that you're saying, okay, we desperately need to bring this back into the classroom? When you talk about resources, could you be specific?
Absolutely. Well, first of all, you have to have a curriculum that's going to offer students that rigor to make sure that they can be successful on the standard, which is our STAR assessment, right? Currently, teachers are some of them have to write their own curriculum. Some of them have to go look for particular resources.
How?
Using their own expertise or their own knowledge. So what we want to do is make life easier for them, where we do have we call them instructional coaches or master teachers who do all the legwork for them, where they are the ones that do the planning, they do a lot of the lesson plans, they do the research in order for teachers. When they get the material, most of their time is going to be spent on internalizing and planning the lessons, as opposed to going and searching for curriculum, which takes hours and hours of time and allows less time for planning. So that's why it's critical and imperative that we have individuals who are experts in content that are going to be able to work with teachers in order to grow capacity.
And you know that it's not, you being a teacher yourself, a former teacher, you know that it's not just teachers. There are a number of things that go into student achievements. Some of it is class sizes. Some students did fall behind a few years ago because of the pandemic. So I understand how this strategy would work with new students, but how about students who are in your school district who have fallen behind and are struggling?
Well, again, it's all about data, going back to the teachers, understanding the data, knowing where there's gaps with students so we can identify those gaps, and we can structure a curriculum to make sure that we accelerate their learning to where they can actually catch up. Yeah, I agree. There are some students that might be a grade or two behind. So again, we need to focus individually on each student, look at what those needs are, in order to make sure that they're getting the quality instruction needed to be successful. And also on teachers, I know we touched on pay. What happens is that it's also important that we retain our best teachers. So one of the things that we are implementing, and I have almost unanimous support from everyone as I've gone to different campuses, is basically telling them that with the changes that we've made, we are going to pay our best teachers more than anybody in Bexar County. So we do have an incentive-based program that's essentially, if you are a high-performing teacher, you are going to basically get paid. You don't have to wait 20 years to make an additional $10, $15 the way that it's structured on a pay scale. If you have 4 years experience and you're a high-performing teacher that essentially is having tremendous impact on students, we want to make sure we keep that person by paying them what they're worth.
And what is a high-performing teacher? How do you define that?
A high-performing teacher is somebody who really impacts student growth, taking a student from where they are and by the end of the year growing that student. Now, they might have not met the standard on a STAR test, but they might have grown that student 1.5 years or 2 years of growth. Also somebody who connects, somebody who engages the students, so when you walk in there, students are excited about learning. So we do have standards, we have metrics as far as how we evaluate teachers, but we're really gonna focus on how students engage, how teachers engage and how they're able to impact students directly.
So surveys, test scores are the things that you'll use to determine what a high-performing teacher is.
And also observations. We do have a standard, it's T-test currently, and we might change that rubric, but something very similar to make sure that teachers are meeting all those standards and components. Coming in, I've already been into about 48 to 50 classrooms. I'm going into 2 or 3 campuses every day. And I'm challenging all our staff here in Central Office that they get out there, boots on the ground, to identify where the needs are and what we can do in order to support our teachers, our campuses, and our students as well. So, like I told them, when we're in offices here in Central Office, that doesn't directly impact campuses. I mean, they are sometimes, where you got to write reports and things like that, but we need to be boots on the ground, acknowledging where our deficiencies are so that we can formulate plans in order to help our campuses, teachers, and students as well.
Speaking of boots on the ground, you made it a point to say that you have visited all of the campuses, that it didn't take you long. From February 18th, when you were brought in, you have visited all of the campuses in the school district, correct?
Yeah, in fact, I've almost visited all of them twice. So every day I make it a point to visit 2 or 3 campuses, and I've told staff as they enter buildings, don't stop what you're doing, right? I want to go and see the great things that are happening in classrooms and just seeing that engagement. And again, as you go in there, you can identify, we have some outstanding teachers in this district, and we want to make sure that we grow them and we support them so that will be a direct correlation on student achievement.
What is the immediate thing that stuck out to you that you thought, oh, okay, we need to fix this?
I think just changing the culture of high expectations. We need to make sure that teachers understand that students will rise up to the level of expectations. One thing, I'm just in my previous district in Somerset, just to give you an example, every 8th grader takes the algebra exam. Didn't matter what label you have, whether you're special ed, bilingual. And we had 95% at approaches and 68% at meets, which is, I believe, one of the highest in Bexar County. And these were 8th graders. So that just shows you, if you have quality teachers in front of students, students will rise up to the level of expectations no matter what label is given to them. So I strongly believe that the teacher is the key cog to student success.
I understand. I have to play devil's advocate for a moment because I'm sure a lot of teachers will say, yes, but we're struggling. And there are a lot of other things that play into this, and some of it is also families, the teacher-parent relationship. What message do you have for families, for parents out there, if you're saying, hey, I'm the leader now. I've been here since February 18th, and I'm committed to improving the outcome?
I'm going to say we can't blame families. I mean, that's easy to do. We can always blame somebody else, right? We need to take ownership. We need to take responsibility. Next to a parent, the teacher is the most influential person in a student's success. So teachers have to believe that they themselves have the ability to change the trajectory in a student and to raise the bar, to have direct impact on student success. But we can't blame families, we can't blame students. We have to look at our own practice and know that it's our job, it's our responsibility in order to get students to the level of that is expected of them.
We got to talk about the $3 million. In the last board meeting, you said something about found. We found $3 million,
Yeah.
and really, I think it was worded oddly because that makes it sound like it was hidden somewhere. But it was just that you restructured some central office positions, and that freed up some $3 million. And half of that money, you said, you want that to go towards teachers, bonuses for high-performing teachers, and then the other half you want to spend on.
Well, we're looking at things where there's needs, like painting of buildings. Some of our aesthetically, our buildings, of course, need some work. We need buses with air conditioned, so we're in the process of buying at least 3 to 4 buses. We need some schools don't even have marquees or electronic marquees. We're looking at things like that in order to better inform parents of what's going on in schools. So as we mentioned, supplies and resources, we need to be sure that our students have all the things they need to be successful, and teachers as well. So again, we're investing in our schools, we're investing in our teachers, we're investing in our students. As far as really it's a restructure. We are reducing some administrative staff that I feel that as schools were closed in previous years, staff were allowed to stay on board, which I totally understand. That you never want to lay off people, but now we're talking about students. We need to be sure that they have everything they need, and sometimes we need to make hard choices in order to do that. So again, I've started those conversations with individuals and letting individuals know that maybe there's another place for them, or in some cases we have to reduce our staff in order to better support our teachers and our students. Currently, I believe we have 22 temp teachers. These are teachers that have no degree that are in front of students. So in high needs areas, we're going to be paying stipends. For example, math and science, a $5,000 sign-on bonus, special ed, $5,000 sign-on bonus, bilingual, $5,000 sign-on bonus, and then also offer stipends as well in order to attract quality teachers to the district. But in order to do that, we had to reduce much from the top so that we could free up money to be innovative and creative to attract quality teachers to the district.
Okay, understood. Do you think it's likely that the board's going to sign off on your plan to use the $3 million?
Well, I'm definitely going to do my best to sell them on the idea, because I know that it's something that works, as far as investing in teachers. Mm-hmm. I know teachers are excited. As I've gone to faculty meetings, I've been to just every campus's faculty meeting, maybe except one or two, and I hope to be at 100% once we return from spring break. But they like the idea, and they like that they have the opportunity to be the highest paid in Bexar County of their high-performing teachers. We actually had teachers in my previous district earning six-figure, when you talk about the teacher incentive allotment, in addition to the performance pay that that we had in Somerset. So we had teachers 110, 112,000. So we want to replicate and duplicate that to make sure, again, our quality teachers not only remain in South San, but are compensated accordingly.
But sometimes, when it comes to high-performing teachers, when you were since you were talking about the rubric, and one of those measures is going to be the tests and seeing how well students do on that. For a lot of, not just teachers, but families, they think that using that particular standard sometimes backfires because students tend to focus on memorizing things versus actually learning some of the concepts for the test.
When you look at STAR, it's almost impossible to memorize, because everything is, you read a paragraph, whether in math, it's a word it's a two-step process. It's a lot of analysis that goes on. So I would argue the point that when you look at the rigor of the STAR exam, it's not memorizing your times tables, right? It's a matter of having to process, having to think. There's two-step processes that are needed in order to get the answer correctly. So those times are gone. So you need quality teachers that are able to understand the curriculum, are able to convey the curriculum to students. So again, so they can be successful once the exam comes out.
What is your message to students who are here and want to do well, kids that want to go on to college, or they have big dreams and they're part of this community?
My message is we're going to challenge them, that they're going to be prepared once they graduate from South San High School. If they want to go to Ivy League schools, or they're going to go to the UTs and the A&Ms, they're going to be prepared to be successful at those colleges. And for those students that take alternate routes, we're going to give them a skill, right? Maybe it's a different pathway. They want to be an electrician, a plumber, EMT. We have so many pathways and opportunities for every student to be successful. Or they've just joined the labor force. We're going to give them those skills necessary in order to be successful and prepare them to, once they leave us, that they're successful in life. So again, our job is to make sure that they're college ready, military ready, career ready, or citizenship ready.
We know that doesn't happen overnight. You were talking before about how this takes time. Can you talk about that? You've been through this before. Yeah. Change takes a while. It took a while to get Somerset ISD to where it is now, and it's going to take a while for South San ISD to build up.
It is going to take time, but the benefit, I believe, is since there's a recipe of success, as I call it, that we know what works, what worked at Somerset in order to get us to the A, that we're going to be able to accelerate that here at South San, where it's not going to take 5 to 6 years. We're hoping that we'll see immediate impact. So at the end of next year, which is the 25-26 school year, and we look at academic results, you should see significant improvement.
When you look at, were there things that you noticed since you've been here that when you look at, again, the last time we got a grade was, I think, 2021 from the TEA, which when this school district was rated as a C, or had a C rating. Why do you think the district was doing poorly? We know that the TEA has its own ideas. They labeled dysfunction in the school district. Why do you think? What did you see?
I can't really comment on the past. What I can tell you is where we're headed. And it's about having high standards, challenging our teachers, challenging our administrators. And if you don't meet those standards, then, you know, we have to create change. And that's the message that I'm telling everybody, every employee, that it's about performance, making sure that we operate at a top level in everything that we do. We want to win at everything, whether it's band, sports, academics, whatever it is. We want to be sure that our kids, when they compete, they're going to be the best. We're going to be competitive, and we want to win. And again, it's about having those high standards, and if we're not meeting those, then, you know, we need to be sure that we make the appropriate change in order to get there.
What is your 1, 3, 5-year plan?
I'd say by 5 years, my vision is that we're not only an A district, but every campus as a minimum of B, an A or B campus. So we'd like to get everybody to the A, but again, it's going to take some time, it's going to get some work, but I'm committed and I'm up to the challenge. I'm a very competitive person, and again, I've put the challenge out to our principals and many of our employees that it's going to take hard work, as we call it, in order to get there. But we're going to get the right people in place, you know, as we restructure, where we all can be successful and we can all achieve our goals, and which is to prepare our kids once they leave us, that they're going to be prepared for the real world.
Did you say heart work?
That's correct.
Heart work, I like it. Okay. Now this is my final question,
Sure.
unless there's anything else that you want to add. We know that at the state level, there's a lot of talk about the voucher-like plan. And obviously, whenever anybody in public education hears this, they think, okay, how is this going to impact my district, my schools, my students? Is that something that you're also thinking, that you also have in the back of your mind?
You know, my main focus is 7,500 students here at South San ISD. And that's, you know, what I'm focused on, to make sure that every kid is successful, that every kid gets a rigorous curriculum, and that our teachers are prepared. You know, you heard the talk about vouchers and so forth. Those are beyond our control. What we can control is the 7,500 students and all the teachers who are in front of those students. So that's going to be our main focus. If we lose some students as a result of vouchers, then we definitely have to make adjustments in staff to make sure, you know, that we have the right ratios and so forth. But we can only control what's in front of us, and right now the challenge is to get all our campuses up to A's and B's, and build capacity within our teachers and make sure that our students are successful.